Move on to the last of our natural deduction, so that we can look at examples. Right, so now I want to look at a few more rules that we haven't done. So the only one we haven't done is negation. Right. So what does this rule say? It says that if you have got a statement and its negation, then you have got a contradiction. Right. If a statement is true, phi is true, and then we also manage to prove that its negation is also true, then we reach what we call a contradiction. Right. So this will always be a invalid argument. Right. So that is the negation introduction rule. Right. And then one of the most powerful rules that we have is the fact that if you have a contradiction, then it means from there you can conclude that anything is true. Right. I'll make a silly example. If this is a pen and this is not a pen, if you are told that this is a pen and you're also told that this is not a pen, then what is the truth? If someone can come and say that this is a car or this is a pencil, you have no basis of refuting it. Right. So when you have a contradiction, then anything becomes true. So if we have, let me put it this way, in the context of the court cases that we've been talking about. So you've got on the other end the two sides, right? If they issue contradictory statements, right? The role of defense usually is to raise reasonable doubt so that you cannot conclusively prove that I am guilty. Right? If there is reasonable doubt, there's such a statement to say beyond reasonable doubt. If there is reasonable doubt, reasonable, which is something that is, not measurable, but if there is reasonable doubt, then you cannot then find someone guilty. So you end up having people who committed a crime and walked, and people who committed a crime and were found guilty. Those who did not commit a crime found guilty, those who did not commit a crime and walked. Right? So these are all, they were found guilty. It doesn't really matter whether they really did commit or not commit. You can end up under guilty if there is no reasonable doubt to prove it. Right? So now, where there is reasonable doubt, anything is true. Right? You then leave not knowing what the truth is because of the inconsistency of the premise that is given, that are given. Right? So whenever we have a contradiction, know that after a contradiction, I am able to conclude anything. So if I have derived a contradiction, then I can prove that this is true. There's no one who can say it's not true because there exists a contradiction in the context of the argument. Right. So that is one of the most powerful, laws out there, in the sense that even when if you crash a computer, what does it do? It resets. Right? So any other command you put after that will then become, valid. Right? If a computer crashes, it will reset. Then you can do whatever it is you want to do. All right. So that is conjunction elimination rule. Then we have one that seems to have no power but can be used for cases where you need to introduce an input. Right. So this law basically states that all the elements, the inputs you need exist in the world, right? It's just a matter of calling them. Right? So this says when you have nothing, you can conclude that you have phi or not phi. This is something that will always be true. Right? Either you are tall or you're not tall. Right? Where tall starts from, that differs. Either you are old or not old. Where old starts from, we can debate that, but it's either you're on this side or on that side. Right? So this statement is saying where you did not have phi, phi can exist, is already in existence in this format. So out of nothing, you can have phi or not phi, P or not P, Q or not Q. So Q already exists, but in the form of Q or not Q. Right. So that is the definition of LEM. It means law of excluded middle. It is a statement that is always true. Irregardless of the scenario, it is always going to be true. Right. So that is the last of our rules. So now we're going to look at a combination of all of these rules used together to achieve a common goal. So usually you're going to see that you have the premise and the desired conclusion. And remember, before we started the natural deduction rules, we're looking at validity of an argument. If an argument is valid, then there should be a path from the given premise to the conclusion. And this we'll see in our next video.